What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is Twin Flames Unite, and we are at it again. And if you don't know by now, I'm Chris.
And I'm Leisha. What up?
You know what's going on, everybody. You know, it is our goal to provide you with information that is helpful for you, that can help you in your everyday life.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
We just forgot our whole intro. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
we hadn't been live consistently in a while, so we'll get it together next video.
Yes.
Don't worry about it, okay?
So, if you all can hear us and everything is coming in clearly, just please drop a 1 in the chat. I know we got a fan going on over here. If that fan is too loud, then you just have to deal with it because
we in Alabama. It is hot. Our AC broke.
Oh gosh.
And it is so hot. I'm just sweating. Look at me, just sweating bricks. Okay. So just don't worry about the fan for right now. But yeah, we're going to be talking about a topic tonight that is going to help everybody. Okay. And I think it's so essential to talk about this in these here times when we feel like we are being tested.
Sorry.
Every
checking on things.
Single day. Now, if you hear in the chat, right? First, let's do some housekeeping. Welcome. If you're new to our channel, welcome. So good to have you on. Please put a handy dandy like on the video if you like our content. If what we're saying is helpful, feel free to share the video also because this topic it's pretty important. All right, and it's coming from one of our posts that we did on Instagram. We wanted to do the live yesterday, but you know it's
got caught up in some things.
Yeah, we were a little bit busy. So today, you know, this is the right moment for it. All right. So yeah, just don't forget to put a like on the video. All right, and if you think that this information could be useful to someone else, feel free to share. And we are just going to jump right into it. We got a few people who's here. Matey son.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Yep. Matey's son, Leah.
Matey's son, Leah. Welcome. All right. We have our goddess in the house.
Probably Madison, Leah.
Oh, Madison. There you go. You can't even say stuff. Jay-Z, welcome. Goddess in the house. If you guys want to come in and say good night, what's up? Put something in the chat. We don't mind.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So today's topic is, are you on the same frequency? And this actually goes with a lot of things that we're going to go into, but we're going to, like my baby said, it's based off of a post that we did earlier today. And some people wanted us to elaborate on a little bit more. So
here we go. Without further ado. So this is it, by the way, for those of you who don't know, if you go on our IG, gosh, I'm never really good at this stuff right here. Not good at it, but I'm going to read it anyhow. So it says, right? And once I read this, if you can relate, put a 1 in the chat, okay? Because I know you can relate.
Yeah.
Sometimes being on a different frequency means that no matter what you're saying, no matter how you say it, that person just can't hear you. Right? Put a 1 in the chat if this is something that you're experiencing. And so what we want to do tonight is we want to make this interactive, right? We definitely want to make it interactive. We want to give you guys some life hacks to really be able to navigate situations such as this. And I know for sure, for a fact, that I have dealt with this. Maybe you, right? And so, yeah, let's know if this is something that you're dealing with currently, or if you find yourself dealing with it quite often. Go on and put a 1 in the chat. Don't be shy. And if you have a scenario that you want to share, feel free to share that scenario. We'll go into it. We'll talk about it because, you know, somebody else might be having the same type of experience, right? That's what we do. We learn from each other's stories or shortcomings and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
good.
Yes.
So Madison, Jay-Z, Honeydew, boom. All right. So you guys you have dealt with it or you're dealing with it currently. All right. So baby, you want me to lead this role?
Go right ahead.
All right. So sometimes being on a different frequency means that no matter what you're saying, that person just cannot hear you, no matter how you say it, if you say it loud, if you say it soft, if you wait a little bit and then you try to communicate. Okay, what this means is that you're shifting. You're shifting into a different timeline, literally. Okay? And when you're shifting in frequency, it's like you're listening. When you think of frequency, you think of the radio. You got FM, you got AM, right? So if someone is on the frequency of FM and you're in the frequency of AM, you guys are on two completely different bandwidth. And so oftentimes in life, we burn ourselves out trying to communicate with someone that's on a completely different bandwidth.
Right.
And that is not what we are going to continue to do.
No, we're not.
Okay. So we have to learn these telltale signs and we see them early so that we can learn how to manage our energies. All right.
Yes.
You don't want to pour water into, my mom used to call it a bottomless pit.
That will be like, this is a strainer, right? And if I were to pour, I'm just giving y'all a visual experiment, right? So you got to understand what you are and who you are.
Right.
You don't want to take your water in this nice glass jar and pour it into a vessel that's got holes in it. You see these holes?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you take it and you just pour it, you see how that just goes right through?
It is not catching, guys.
That ain't catching.
It's not catching.
That ain't it.
That is not it.
So yeah, you gotta know where you are and who you are. Because with everything that's going on right now, there is definitely a shift that is going on. And this shift can be very beneficial for you because we are going into a period, and just a side note, look, there's probably something really magical that is about to go down in the next few days. Just keep that in mind. But we are shifting from, of course, we're shifting from new earth to old earth, right? And so some people are still on the frequency of old earth, and you may be on the frequency of new earth. And so what we are actually experiencing right now is that some people just can't hear us because we're not on the same plane of existence.
Period. At all.
Okay? And so it may be a little confusing as far as why you want to reach out to somebody and they just like don't return calls, or you may say something to them and they just completely ignore you. Now, if this was back in the day, we could probably say, oh, that may be a little bit of shadow work that you were doing if you think somebody's ignoring you. But right now, that's not the case.
Right. You're just on a different frequency. And we have to learn to accept people, things, situations, circumstances for what it is. It's important that we do this, especially in these here times. You know, if someone is blue, let them be blue. Stop trying to paint those people different color, because you will really mismanage your energy. Okay, and we came on here tonight to remind you, because we already know you know this stuff. You guys are super intelligent. You won't be here if you weren't, right?
Right.
So everyone here is super intelligent, but we just wanted to give you a reminder and to also remind ourselves how to manage our energies wisely so that we don't feel drained. Because you have to remember, Mercury is in retrograde, which is why our words are a little bit jumbled up sometimes, okay? So that's a planet that really governs communication, if you don't know. But I'm pretty sure you guys do, right? So let's say that you're trying to communicate with someone. Maybe this might be your twin flame. Maybe this might be your soulmate or whatever. And you've been trying to communicate with this person for a very, very long time. And they just, it's not vibing.
No.
I'm here to let you know it is okay to let them go. It is so okay for your own sanity, for your own peace of mind, for your own evolution, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. It is okay to let that person breathe on the side for a bit. Because what you're doing is you're literally lowering your frequency each time You continuously pour into, like my baby just showed you a strainer. You're continuously pouring into something that's not catching anything.
Right.
And so you're draining yourself. We're here to tell you, you don't have to do that anymore. Just let it go.
Yes,
Okay?
African oneness. Yes, it is. We are so happy to hear that you have actually done your shadow work, because that is something that is so needed. Gosh, it's like
it helps.
Oh gosh,
it helps in these times.
Yeah, because you don't want to be playing catch up.
It definitely does. It makes this journey not easier, because it's like you have a tool now. So it's not that it's easier, it's that you have a tool that you can use to navigate these here times that we are currently experiencing.
Yeah.
So that's shadow work is like having a tool, because you know what your triggers are, because you probably dealt with it. So you know what it looks like. You know what you can and cannot handle, because you're not in a place of fooling yourself and being in an illusion that you created purposely to distract you from truth, right? So shadow work is important. It prevents us from projecting onto others, right? We don't want to be doing a whole bunch of projection, because when you're projecting, you're not growing.
Right.
You're stuck. You're like playing the blame game, and you're just on a wheel, right? But if you've done your shadow work, and you've really done your integration, and you're noticing that you're just not on the same frequency as someone else, just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Yeah. Let it go.
You got to.
You got to. And don't bite the bait. That's another one, number 2. Don't bite the bait. And I'm going to tell you what I mean when I say don't bite the bait, because this is something that I've recently experienced, me and my friend, okay, in Canada. We call each other and we talk about the bait biting technique.
Don't fall for the clickbait.
Yeah, don't bite the bait. So let's say that someone, I'm going to say this before I say that, right? Hopefully I remember it. There's thank you. Some people, they hold a version of you in their mind that either don't exist or doesn't exist anymore. Maybe one time it did, but they still hold that version of you, that outdated version of you, captive in their mind, spirit, and body, right? And this is sometimes why you're not able to communicate with someone, because they're talking to a version of you that has already been elevated. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down here? I'm going someplace with it, okay?
Yeah, keep going.
So this can also play a part in you and that other person not being on the same bandwidth, because they're talking to the outdated version of you. So when you're trying to communicate with them, it's literally going into thin air. So it's it's like the communication literally, it misses, right? Because they're not able, they don't have the capacity, depending on where they're vibrating, they don't have the capacity to hold the frequency of the updated you, if that makes sense. Or the elevated version of yourself, they cannot hold it. They cannot contain it.
No.
The only thing that they could contain is either the version of you that they created in their head, or the version of you that you've already integrated and upgraded. Okay? So we have to learn to recognize these things. And how do you tell if someone is talking to a version of yourself, that has already been upgraded? They bring up a lot of things about the past, things that you might have did 5-6 years ago, right? Things that you already went and you did your integration on, your shadow work, right? And healed and stuff, because we do things based off of trauma and experiences, right? And so they just cannot see you in that same light, because now that you've done your work, now that you've elevated yourself, you've literally put yourself on a different frequency. Is that making sense, guys?
I hope it is, because it's really, wow. Y'all gotta forgive me, because it's just so many things that go through, as far as thoughts and just knowing the things that are going on in dream space. Is just so much expansion that is going on. But one of the things I want to say for sure is that we fell for the trap long time ago, right? We were riding high in our ninth dimension and probably above for a lot of y'all, and we got pulled down to this existence. Right now is not the time to get pulled back into this existence.
No.
And just like how African oneness said, and quite a few others said, you try to reach back and help other people, but you can only help those who are looking for that help.
Right.
Okay, because that's just like how our ancestors, who are just the ones in the future that have already gone through and done everything, they reach back and they send out messages, and if you can pick up what they're putting down, then cool beans. But if not, then it'll be there for you. But just remember that you are vibing on a different frequency.
Yeah.
And so they may or may not pick up what you're putting down. Okay?
And it's okay. And it's not a judgment in a sense, oh, I'm better than you. It's nothing like that at all. Because everyone sets their alarm to wake up at a certain time. Okay? Some people are just NPCs. I'm just keeping it real. There's some people who are not destined to wake up because, it's a whole nother topic. But, nevertheless, everyone wakes up at a different time.
Yes.
So you have to know when to cut it loose and allow them that time to grow. And when they are on your frequency, they'll reach out to you.
Yes.
Because it's like, there'll be an attraction or whatnot. And it's okay. You do it with love and compassion, and understand that, hey, I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste your time. Even though time is an illusion, whatever. But still, for the sake of peace, tranquility. And I was going back to the bait, because I said that part first. Now I'm going to talk about biting the bait. Someone might try to say something to you in reference to maybe the old you, or the things that you once partake in that you don't do anymore. It could be being loud. It's something as simple as being loud, like saying something that they think that might trigger you and that might make you be aggressive. Whatever it is, it's a bait.
Yeah.
And so you have to be really conscious and aware to know these things, so that you don't fall for the okie doke and pull yourself down by really trying to retaliate. You don't bite the bait. That's one way of quickly, lowering your frequency, by biting baits and traps that were set up for you. Because what happens is, when someone is throwing that type of bait your way, I would call it bait, they're trying to get rid of something that they themselves don't want. The saying, misery loves company. If someone is miserable, they'll throw something at you to make you miserable. But something beautiful happens when you don't react.
What's that?
That energy stays right where it belongs.
You're right there.
Say, no, thank you. I don't want that gift today. I'm okay. Don't react. Don't retaliate to things that would lower your frequency, because that's like you biting the bait. Don't bite the bait.
No, do not
right?
bite the bait. Okay. And with this change of frequency, actually, if y'all are listening, I want to ask this question. All right. And if you are experiencing this, drop a 1 in the chat, because a lot of us are moving up through higher frequencies, and you may feel like there's like a ceiling as far as you moving up. I'm just asking. If you feel like there is some type of blockage as far as you moving up, drop a 1 in the chat. If so, there's some advice that we can give in regards to this, because this is just something that we're seeing in small areas for some individuals, but if it's something that's happening collectively, then we have some resources for that. Because with this change of frequency, you still have a little bit of crab in the barrel type thing. You know, when they try to trigger you and there's certain things of that nature, but let's just leave it at that and see if any of you are experiencing that. All right. I see we got African One that's just dropped the one in the chat.
All right, beautiful. Okay, wonderful. So we've been noticing this throughout different experiences, you know, because you know we look at some YouTubers and starting to notice a pattern. So yeah. So it's good to see that, you know, we're not cuckoo for cocoa puffs. So yeah, that's what's up. And Binti in between, yes, Jay-Z, yes, in between realities. Oh my gosh.
All right. So I'm the lyrics.
That's Jay-Z.
I know. I was about to say her lyrics are dope.
Yes.
Say that. All right. I'm glad that you put this in here because it's one thing I wanted to really drive home right now, which is that, for one, if you don't know already, we are in the age of Aquarius, right? We're in the age of Aquarius, so that means that we're not going off of our emotions anymore. We're going off of things that are logical, things that make sense. So the barriers that we are experiencing or that individuals may be experiencing is more of a psychological, mental type of block. Okay? And man, I should have worn my shirt today, but I didn't know I was going to go into this. So one of the things is to remember that, and if this rubbed you the wrong way, I'm so sorry, but I'm just letting you know, you are God.
It's going to rub them the right way.
Okay? You are God.
What's that, John? What, John?
No, it's
what is it?
Oh gosh, I don't remember right off the top of my head. But yes, it is in the Bible. It's written there many times that when Jesus said that ye are gods. Okay, y'all can read through the scripture. I'm going off the top of my head because I really didn't know that I was going to go this way. Gosh, okay. This is a psychological thing that is going on. And this is one of the, it's one of the last tactics. I'm just going to go with this. It's one of the last tactics that whoever is the powers that be is using to try to hold people's frequency down. And it's really a psychological thing. And this is why the shadow work was so key, that we really had to go hard in from 2020 up until now, because remember in 2020 we had to get clear vision,
right?
And so what's going on right now is that the psychological tactics are coming out the woodworks, and if you get caught up in those, then it can throw you off and you can feel like you're blocked in a sense. But you have additional resources to actually get you out of that, and understanding that you are an alchemist. Because if you're a God, you're a generator, operator, and destroyer
of worlds.
Okay? So if you're a generator, and operator, and destroyer of worlds, that means that you're also an alchemist. So that means that just like Doctor Strange, if y'all haven't seen the last Doctor Strange that just recently came out,
that was a good one.
There was a situation where right at the end, he was about to go through and save the day, but then all of these other ghosts and demons started taking him over, and they almost took him out. But his wife from the other parallel world was like, had to remind him, like, what is wrong with you? You are a dark alchemist. Use them for your own benefit. Okay? If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. It is a definitely pretty cool, awesome movie. But essentially what that is saying, she was telling him to use your demons to do your bidding.
That's right. Let go of fear.
Let go of fear. Because that little bit of fear is the part that is it is the I wouldn't say it's the part that controls, but it's one of those last chords that they have to pull, if that makes sense.
Right. Because it's, again, this goes back to frequency. It's a frequency thing, right? So fear, think of fear as something that's really gooey and icky and sticky, right? And think of fear as, when you ever touch something that's sticky, like think about dough. You ever kneaded dough, and you don't have enough flour in that dough. So when you're kneading it, the dough just kind of sticks to everything. Think about fear like that. So anything that's really dense and low and draggy like that, that will be on the same kind of frequency as fear. So with that type of energy, it's easy for them to stick.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why in the Doctor Strange movie, it was easy for them to stick onto him like that and kind of control him because he was vibrating low. He was in fear. But once he rose above fear, he got rid of the fear and he reminded himself who he was. He was not in fear anymore. Therefore, they were not sticking onto him. Now he was able to ride them and let them create wings so that he could fly. So fear is something that really it keeps you trapped almost.
Yes, it does. Okay, and gosh, y'all got these things, these messages that are coming through like so strong. But the other day, I was riding in the car, and our son was listening to Rich Dad Poor Dad, and there was a moment in that, and I was listening. So it's like, actually, I'm going back a little bit because we're riding in the car. I'm normally playing like whatever music I'm listening to. But I was like, what are you listening to today? It's like, oh, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm like, okay, let me take a listen to this. I hadn't listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad in almost 15 years now. And so I was like, let's take a listen to it. Let me listen to it. And we were on chapter 6 or 7, if I remember correctly. It's one of those chapters, okay? And they were talking about why most people don't succeed. And there were 6 different reasons, 6 different reasons as far as reason why people don't succeed. But one of the reasons is that because the reason they don't succeed is that because they don't plan to win. They don't play to win. They either play it safe, or they essentially they play it safe because they're thinking like, oh, I'm going to lose something, right? And so he was talking about this story of in Texas, remember the Alamo. If y'all don't know about the story of the Alamo, it was one of the the baddest defeats that I can't remember if it was a U.S. war, but it was just a horrible defeat in Texas. They lost badly. All right, they went in there full force, knowing that they were going to lose, but they went in and they lost anyway because they knew they were going to lose. But they said, if we're going to lose, we're going to lose big, right? So that fear of losing, whether that's a loved one, whether losing your twin flame or losing your earthly possessions or even losing your spiritual gifts, okay, that fear can hold you back from extending past the frequency that you want to get to, so that you can actually ascend and move on and actually be a complete alchemist in this situation and use things to your own benefit, aka use your demons to do your work.
Facts, big facts. Stop being afraid, guys. Stop being afraid. All this stuff that we are in, like my baby said, we're in the age of Aquarius now, or moving into the age of Aquarius. The age of Pisces, that's the whole belief system where you don't need to know something to believe it was enough. But even in the word believe, there is be lie, we want to know.
Yes.
We are more interested in knowing right now, because when you believe something, it is simply because you don't know. And wherever you find belief, you find doubt.
Yes.
You will always find doubt where you find a belief.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're stepping into the age of knowing. We are letting go of fear. We are remembering who we are. And because we are remembering who we are, we mitigate and we know how to disperse our
Mm-hmm.
energy using our intelligence and our wisdom that our
Yes.
ancestors bestowed upon us hundreds of millions of years ago, coded within our DNA. Okay. It's all in
Mm-hmm.
the DNA.
Yes.
You just have to go through. If you haven't, do your shadow work because that is what's going to really unlock a lot of the gifts and abilities and codes that's literally within your DNA that will allow you to ascend to the highest version of yourself or connect with the highest version of yourself, depending
Mm-hmm.
on what timeline you want to experience.
Yeah. Yeah, because you got to think about, because even though we started this video out as far as, in a sense, talking about people in your lives, whether or not you're vibrating on the same level and how they can hear you and how they can not hear you,
Mm-hmm.
this also goes on your spiritual path, because you have to make sure that you are a vibrational match for whatever you're trying to attain. And usually, if you're like most people, especially on this in this community, this conscious community,
Mm-hmm.
and I say conscious loosely, if you are aware, then you know you're shooting for higher vibrational stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to access that higher vibrational stuff, you have to be on a match for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are different techniques that you can use, and I don't know why this fan on this computer is going loud, like it's being overworked.
Probably because it's
But
so hot.
yeah, but hopefully the information we coming through is working out well. Okay. Where was I going with this?
These are the distractions that come in that try to stop the downloads.
Right.
See,
Yeah.
it's a lot happening. Somebody said major downloads too. So African Oneness, she understands what the downloads are.
Mhm.
Sometimes, guys, when we get these type of you want to call them downloads, whatever terminology you want to put on them, we sometimes we do want to share the information because we know that it will help someone in the chat. I know someone in the chat um, is being helped tonight, you know,
Yes.
or is saying, wow, I don't feel like, you know, I'm the only one, you know, at least someone else out there is experiencing this. So that's why we do these things. And sometimes when the downloads come in, you know, little distractions come and it kind of go poof out the window. So we are so sorry about that.
Mhm.
Jay-Z said, exactly. I notice my vibration shifts with the people I meet and connect with. Yes,
Yes.
it does.
Yes.
It does.
And you have to be very, very careful with that, because it's kind of like what we were saying 2 nights ago. When it comes to understanding how our past relationships actually helped us today, which in my situation, it was that me getting lost in that relationship to the point that I didn't know who I was. So when you're interacting with other people, yeah, you can be a chameleon, but also be aware of who you are.
Yes.
Okay, and that is true alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
True alchemy.
You know who you
And
are.
not getting caught up in all of these religions and cults and things of that nature.
They got some cults out there. Got people doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
What Madison said, definitely helping me. Oh, Madison, thank you so much
Yes.
for that feedback. We appreciate that. Honeydew said I was making biscuits this evening.
Talking about the bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z said you must prepare yourself for the FM station so that you can be in tune with the frequency. That's just correct. You got to know what you're dealing with. Know what you're dealing with and accept things again. Accept things and people as they are. You know, you definitely hold space. So hold space for the situation or people to be in a different light, but at the same time, you must not be delusional and fool yourself, right? A lot of times we set ourselves up. Remember, we talked about in one of the older videos, we talked about disappointments, right? I broke down the whole, broke down that whole word disappointment, right? So this usually means bad, right? And appointment. So it's a bad appointment. So we set up ourselves for these bad appointments all the time by having these expectations that are delusional.
Right.
But if we accept things and people and circumstances and situation for exactly what it is or what they are,
Hmm.
I mean, the chances of being disappointed is slim to none.
Right. 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 Right.
Right? So know what you're dealing with.
All right. Now, one other thing is that knowing that it's a psychological thing, you have to keep your mind sharp. You also have other tools to use. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this, and hopefully it doesn't ruffle any feathers.
Nah, it's not gonna ruffle the feathers. It's gonna smooth them out real nice, baby.
Which is that you have to go back to the ancient practices of your ancestors, the ones that came before you.
Yes.
Okay. There are a lot of people that are out there that are trying to use magic, whether it is white magic or black magic, it is all the same. Whether it's white magic or black magic, it is all the same. It's just a matter of intent that is behind it. But right now, if you do not have any linkage to that heritage, if you don't have any linkage to that bloodline, if you don't have any linkage to that culture, it's not going to work for you. This is not a message that's coming from me. This, once again, this is something that is coming through, and I'm trying to get the messages as they come through. But the additional tools that you have is tied into your linkage. It's tied into your DNA. It is those things that your ancestors used to get past any type of roadblocks. Okay, and if you have been digging into your spiritual sciences, if you have been digging into your ancestral powers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is the time to dive into that bag real deep.
Yeah, and get your tools. You know, it's your tools. They belong to you. Sometimes you really have to, again, see things and people and situations and circumstances for what it is. Like, you know, something, I'm not going to say that because YouTube won't get mad.
I'm going to say it.
I was going to talk about where you go to get help from, you know. I'm going to try to say it smart.
Because you're smart.
Yeah, I'm going to try to say it smart. Wouldn't it be nice, right, if we had a system that we as a community would pay, right, our healers only when we are well, right? That would be a nice thing to have, right? But the system that currently exists, it's the opposite. They get paid when we are not well.
Right.
So when we are not well, it seems to be beneficial for us not to be well. You know what I mean? I'm trying to say this smart, but I don't think it's working out. See things is just an example. See things and people and circumstances for what it is. Don't fool yourself. Okay? So we know that we would like for our society to have a situationship where, you know, you get money all day as long as I'm good. You got it, bro. You can get all my bread because you're keeping me good, you know? And then, you know, we would have a society that actually would work to keep you well because we are paying you to keep us well. The moment I stop feeling well, bro, you ain't getting no money. You're supposed to be making sure that I'm feeling good, right?
Right.
So because we know we don't have the society that, you know, we would like it to be like that, we have to act accordingly. It's just an example of seeing things and situations and people for what they are. Right. Don't try to fool yourself. This is not the age of Aquarius is not a time of believing and fooling yourself. This is a time of accepting things, people, situations, and circumstances as it shows up to be, and learning how to navigate. Okay? Yes, that's what this energy is.
Yes.
Don't fool yourself. Accept it. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it hurts to know that you've been pouring so much into a certain somebody, but it's not being reciprocated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're giving 100%, but you feel like if you get back 25, you're maxed out. Like, gosh, you know. And so it can be very hurtful to truly sit down one day and just really accept it. But listen, in the beginning, it might be painful, but once you accept that shit, it is so freeing.
Mm-hmm.
It is so freeing.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you do is now you literally changing your frequency. You're changing your vibration. You now begin to shift into truth.
Mm.
You're shifting into the frequency of truth. Because when you stay in a situation like that it's delusional, what you're doing is you're just going to continuously attract more delusional shit, more delusional people, more delusional situations. But
Yeah.
when you accept it, the moment you accept it is the moment you shift.
Yeah. And actually, in talking about delusions, your fears are delusions. To be quite honest with you, because fear is just the things of the unknown. It's false evidence appearing real.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a delusion. It's an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whenever it comes to any of your fears, just search any and all of them.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a little bit. If you're afraid of a mouse running across the floor, like look into that. Make sure you squash that fear like 100%.
I'm not squashing my fear with lizards.
I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna be afraid of them till the day I die.
But look,
that's one fear I'm never gonna get over. I'm so sorry, y'all.
But,
y'all gonna have to make space for me with that one.
But
I'm not doing it.
But here's the thing. And here's one of the messages that is coming through, which is to let go of any and all fear, because where we are going, fear does not exist.
Well, maybe lizards is not there, baby. You think they don't got no lizards there? They ain't got no lizards there. You know what to tell me? Oh crap! Listen, that's the only thing that makes me uncomfortable. You know what? It's not fair. It's not fair.
No.
It's an uncomfortability. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and yeah. And I guess one of the things that's a major key is making sure that your courage outweighs your fear. Because the more courage you have, the more of the ability you have to just face that fear head on.
Facts.
Whether you may lose or win, you don't care. You got enough courage to go through and face whatever you need to face.
Facts.
Okay? Because there are a lot of situations that we come in contact with, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It can be a little scary. Things are looking a little bit shaky, baby. But if you have enough courage, like the cowardly lion, if you get that courage,
put them up, put them up, put them up, put them up,
then you can move on to the next level. Okay, so boom, that's I think that's all that I had to put out in there.
Help is on the way, guys. Help is on the way.
No, that's just Zeus at the thing.
Hold on, I'm about to show them. Help is on the way. Look what I did today, y'all. See this? Our help is supernatural. See that? It's supernatural. Always know that our help comes from places and situations that sometimes you don't even expect or understand.
Right.
All right? But just keep raising your vibration, keep raising your frequency, and make sure your container is always prepared for what you are asking for, what you're seeking, what you're trying to find. Yes. Because sometimes we can receive things, but we can't contain it, so we lose it. So yeah.
So y'all just prepare yourselves and just know that your greatest timeline, you're walking it.
And you got this. You got this. Don't let nobody throw you off your path. Don't let anyone throw you off your frequency. There's a little life hack for you. Leave you a little life hack, right? If you find that you're communicating with someone constantly and they're not hearing you, simply walk away. Don't don't do it anymore. You know, because and this comes from a form of self-love. You know, remember one of our old videos, how we would always say this: the way you treat yourself is an example and it shows others how you wish to be treated, right? It's like self-love, self-respect. So if you're continuously allowing someone to like disrespect you, or you are continuously allowing someone to treat you unkind, right? In a way, they're seeing it as you not loving yourself enough. And so they'll continue to do these things to you.
Right.
So at some point in time, the self-love part of you got to kick in. You got to kick that gear in to know that, you know, this action that I'm doing doesn't feel like self-love.
No.
If you can ask yourself this question, what I'm doing right now, is this self-love? And how would you know if this is self-love? Alicia, how would I know if it's self-love? Well, does it feel good? Does it feel good? Does it feel right? Does it feel like it's taking you to a better place? Because sometimes love doesn't always feel comfortable, right? It could be some type like a strong medicine. Like, you know, I give the kids wormwood for it's an anti-parasite. I drink wormwood, and oh my God, it is the nastiest thing in the world. Okay, but it's good for my body. So sometimes love can feel like that, right?
Yes.
Like if you love someone and you see that they're continuously partaking in habits that it's like ruining them, then you will come in and you'll be like, hey, I don't think you should be doing X, Y, and Z because it looks like it's deteriorating, you know, ABC. You know, depending on if the person is in their ego, they might get mad or whatnot. But you're doing it out of love. And that's different. It's a different scenario.
Different scenario.
Different scenario. But you know what it feels like. You know what self-love is. Self-love is something that is going to help you to elevate. It usually feels good. If you know, if it doesn't feel good and it's love, it's something to help you to elevate.
Right.
So you guys know the difference. So ask yourself that question. When you're communicating with someone, you know, and you're not, it doesn't feel good to you and it doesn't feel good for a long time, you just ask yourself this one small question. Is this self-love? And then take it a step further and you ask yourself, would I want my child to be in this situation? That's the one that gets people all the time now. Gets you, like, you'll be in a situation and you won't find a problem with it. That's because that's when self-love is absent. So if you want to help yourself, because, you know, sometimes we can get used to toxic situations. If you want to help yourself to see if you're partaking in something that's, you know, considered self-love, ask yourself this: would I want my daughter to be experiencing this? Or would I want my son to be experiencing this?
Yo, that is the main reason why I decided to go along with the divorce from my marriage. Because when I looked at my relationship with my wife at the time, I didn't want my son to experience that same thing.
See?
And so because I understood that my son is going to pretty much mimic everything that I do, I didn't want him to be in a loveless relationship. So because of that, and having enough love for my son and enough love for myself, I exited stage left.
Sometimes you just got to let it go. You got to know when
That's
you're
real
beating
talk.
a dead horse. You have to know when you're beating a dead horse.
Right.
All right. And we got a lot of comments in the chat. You guys are popping tonight, man. Looks like we got to come live more on like a Sunday. Now, guys, if what we're saying is helpful for you in any way and you think that this information can help anyone, please feel free to share the video. Don't forget to give us that thumbs up. And if you would like to help us to keep the lights on, go ahead and feel free to donate to our Cash App. The link is right there. We appreciate anything from $1 to 100, whatever you guys can afford. That would be awesome. Oh, thank you so much, my goddess Jay-Z. Ruby, welcome. Welcome, Ruby.
Yes, Ruby.
In African Oneness, what did she say? People treat me the way I treat myself. This is what I think of when someone mistreats me. Exactly. Put that up on the thingy bar, baby. That just brought me to something right here that'll help y'all tonight before we exit.
Mm-hmm.
The way someone treats you says more about that person than it does about you. Now, I want you to remember that, okay? Even if you're the butthole. Even if you are the butthole, guys, pay attention to what I just said, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The way someone treats you says more about that person than it does about you.
Mm.
Okay? Just really let that sink in, okay? Because I have seen my wonderful sweetheart. Like he has taught me how to be a better person. Well, how to treat people better, I should say.
Okay.
He has taught me to have more patience with humans. I must say that because I really did not have a lot of patience with humans. And I've watched this gentleman be so patient with people that I would have just snuffed. Like I would have knocked them the hell out. And it just made me take a step back and really admire him because it was saying so much about who he is, right? Because if someone comes to you with some BS, right? Just 3D speaking, someone comes to you with some BS and you're able to respond with emotional intelligence in class, I'm telling you, don't get me wrong, some people can take you there.
Yeah, some people can take you there.
But when you can bring them back, that says a lot about you.
Yes.
Says a lot about you. So don't take things so personal when people treat you shitty, and just know that it just really, a lot of the times it don't have anything to do with you.
No.
Most of the time it's projection on their part. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just always keep that in mind. And you might be a shitty person sometimes, you know, hey. And that will make you really sit back and think, damn, did I overreact today? I didn't really have to go that far, you know?
Right.
So just a little self-analysis and just realizing that one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when someone mistreats you, it says more about that person than it really does about you.
Right.
Right?
Right. So you gotta check your frequencies.
Check it.
Check your frequencies. Know the frequency that you want to be on.
Mm-hmm.
Then look at the frequency that you're currently on, and then see what you need to do to match your frequency to the frequency to which you want to be.
Exactly. And don't forget, don't bite the bait. I know some of y'all gonna be needing this message coming up for this week that's coming here. Remember what Chris and Alicia said. Somebody put hashtag don't bite the bait. Y'all got to remember this because it's probably going to have some stuff coming up to test you. Don't bite the bait, and know that how people treat you is really just a reflection of themselves more than anything else. Right? And know when to let go.
Yes.
Know when it's time to let it go, you know?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. My sweetheart says, what she says here, Jay-Z, I left a 9-year relationship that was unbalanced, not aligned, and it was not easy, but my children see the side of us and respect our decision.
And they were led by example.
Wow, you see? You see, sometimes you do have to let go. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Jay-Z. That was beautiful. In African Oneness, she said this is true if, this is true if I see and not feeling like that about myself, then I know it's them and not me, and I move according. It's a great emotive. Did she say emotive compass?
Move according.
It's a great compass.
Oh, it's a great.
I can't see.
I guess she meant to say emotional compass.
Oh, okay, emotional compass. Okay, yeah, it is. It is definitely a great tool to have responding versus reacting.
Mhm.
You know, and it takes practice. Like, listen, this little technique. If you're not good at that, practice in the mirror.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
just talk to yourself, say something crazy, and see how you're gonna respond. I mean,
Yeah.
practice, or get somebody to help you to practice. You know.
And actually, just giving a shout out to Q Reeves, because he's actually starting. Well, he's been doing a new service which is called bull baiting.
Bull baiting, that's what it is.
And in the service that he provides, he is literally looking for triggers to get an emotional response out of you, and so that you can, for one, deal with that trigger, and then know how to overcome it so that it doesn't cause a reaction out of you.
Right.
So if y'all need help in that area, check out our boy Q Reeves. If you
Yes.
don't know who Q Reeves is, we'll probably share one of his videos on our thing just so you know who he is. And if you need help with bull baiting, he can help you out with that. Help you
Yes.
really get that in check, so that you can be level-headed in any situation and be able to handle it with no problem.
That's right.
All right. So boom. All right, y'all. So we're about to head on up out of here. We're right at the 1 hour mark.
Nice.
Nice.
We wasn't too long-winded tonight.
No. All right. So we love y'all
We love
so
you
much.
guys. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. And we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace out. Go to the website.